Hope you enjoyed this one. This has given my latest review on Naruto Shippuden episode 435. Ta- tale, tale of Naruto the hero, how Jiraiya ninja scrolls orders our priorities. Anyway, it starts in continuation of what happened last week. Because of Nagato's hesitation, because of his struggle to accept the past, knowing that his parents were cut down by Hidden Leaf Shinobi, seeing how those children were back in Dakota, he caused an accident because he couldn't control himself. You know. And in this episode, he does feel responsible. I mean, he collapsed the house around them and basically let those children almost near to their deaths. I said almost near. The children are still alive. And I'll get into details of that in a minute. So, spoiler alert for a lot. And that's what. And like, however, things start to go very interesting because as Team Jiraiya, Konan, Nagato, and Yahiko, they go after the children. Shikamaru's team, they go for they go somewhere else. It's like because the other they know because what we've seen like Shikamaru, he's always been a tactician, like basically. And he thinks given their skills, they could probably handle rescuing the children. So he goes out to somewhere else. Meanwhile, you got Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura's team along with Neji, Tenten, and Lee's team. They're trying to find out what's going on. There's this some kind of black, weird fog-looking thing, and that seems to have the team leaders Kakashi, Asuma, Kurenai, and Guy, all captive for some reason. Yet they don't know what to do. Given the situation, they don't know what enemy they're dealing with. And from what I see, they're dealing with members of the Akatsuki. However, it's not sufficient and not specific, as people would say. Not specific in detail to what most of the things say. But but let me continue on. As the, as Naruto, Yahiko, Konan, they tries to look for children, they find out there's some kind of weird phenomenon going on. There's some kind of underground tunnel that seems to have been created by some kind of creature. It's earlier in the episode that there's some kind of shrine, and Shikamaru's team they see this woman who's praying, and this woman is apparently the mother of the two boys that fell into the beneath the ground. Apparently they even give details that their village was being warned that there was going to be an attack soon, so the people were forced to leave. However, the children and Erden went back to the village, and she tried to chase after her kids, but they couldn't save them. So basically, the children went behind and left mom behind. So basically, they went basically. So that explains a lot. She's praying to this thing, this kind of shrine called Lord Mishadi. Apparently, the village was peaceful. They had no war or violence of any kind. They were very a moderate village, and because of I believe by believe by not praying. And by keeping calm, they wouldn't anger this Miss Mishami Sama, this Lord Mishadi, and it's basic. And what they're praying to is basically some kind of giant eel snake worm monster that lives underground, basically. Hmm. And I did like this episode for certain points, like for example, how when Team Jiraiya they tried to save the children, they fought against these creatures. They find they rescue children. How when things were starting to look bad because things got a little bad for them, how Shikamaru's team they helped out. And it seems that from that on, it looks like they're probably going to understand each other. I mean, it was a misunderstanding. If you guys not seen my episode of my review of the last episode, go ahead because they start to fight because of a misunderstanding, and things are bad. And anyway, hey, you got back to the others, or they try to rescue their leaders, and they hear this kind of voice. I mean, they even try. It's like literally talking to them, try to ask them to go after their allies. But Sasuke, he doesn't want to go after them, and he even wants him to like send some of them to go back to the village and ask for backup. That means leaving. Some of them have to leave the village and not help. But then the voice responds back saying, "And this, and the village the Hidden Leaf Village continues to follow its orders over abandoning their comrades. It even continues to this generation, and it sounds a lot like and the way he's saying it, it reminds you a lot of the Obito of the Tales of Kakashi. You know you know Kakashi, how young he was, the Kakashi Chronicles, how he lost Obito, and how Obito told them that those who break the rules are scum, but those who abandon their comrades are worse scum. This episode, this filler, this memory thing, it lingers to what happened, and it edges on what happened to Minato's team, to Kakashi, to Rin, and to Obito. Like it literally hints that so many times. But the things, are not. As for Naruto, he doesn't want to abandon them. He just headed into the eye of the storm, to the eye of that vortex. He jumps in, and Sasuke doesn't want to. While he follows him. He followed into the storm, and they wake up. They come into some kind of time space dimension. And Sasuke even said it's some kind of time space ninjutsu. It's like a darker version of when two ninjas who souls people who souls try to connect to each other and in like their inner world, their inner mind. It reminds me of that, like how when Naruto first got to meet his mom, his dad, and he talked to Sasuke, and he also talked to Sasuke a little bit. And he even talked to Obito when he had the power of the Jubi and became the Jinchuriki for the Ten Tails. So it's like that, but a much darker version. And out pumps out this stranger who's basically the guy who's pulling the strings. He's probably pulling the string behind the Akatsuki, the evil Akatsuki with Hidan and Kakazu. Although we haven't seen remnants of the other Akatsuki members. Seeing these guys, how how they are how they are now, but things are a little different. For example, he has the orange mask and he has the ability to pop out of dimension. The only difference between this guy and Obito, this guy has the Byakugan. I'm like, how could a Byakugan user use Obito's jutsu? It doesn't make any sense. But remember, this book is basically a retelling of the story from a different route. Like it's colliding key points from several other storylines, right, and mashing them up together to create a whole new story. And this is a good filler. And this is one of the longest, of the fillers. Right now we're like what in episode 4, and we're getting 5 next week. Episode 5 of this whole Jiraiya Ninja Scroll thing. And these fillers are long, but I like the fillers, but I want to get back to the action. What about you? Oh, but there's something about this guy. This guy knew who Neji. This guy knew Hyuga. From the preview I saw about from gonna have it for the next episode, it looks like this guy has connection to Hashi, who is Hinata's dad and the head of the Hyuga clan, and Hisashi, he's Neji's father, who was Hisashi's his brother, which makes him Hashi his uncle. If you guys know about the story between the Chunin exam, the second round, the final rounds of the Chunin exam between Neji and Naruto. If you guys know about that, and that's a classic episode. That was one of the first Naruto episodes I ever watched, and it was cool, definitely cool. Anyway, that's all I gotta say. This episode was good in some key points. I definitely liked it. I recommend you see this. But if you guys have not seen the other episode, I recommend you watch the other 3 episodes before this. You want to watch my other videos and you can get a feel for what I'm talking about. This was a good story, and it gives you more. It asks you more questions and give you more questions and answers. Like, who is the man behind the mask? What is his score against the Leaf? He was probably abandoned. Probably something terrible happened. That's a typical storyline. So I'm going with that. Hope you enjoyed this one. Comment, subscribe. Thank you. This is Solomon Islands. Give my latest review. Now Shippuden episode 435. Alright, definitely awesome. Bye.